All right, Nick, let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines. The Wolverines have one of the best teams in all of college football. Obviously, their quarterback is coming back in J.J. McCarthy. Their running back in Blake Corum is back for another year as well. This defense may have lost a few pieces, Nick, but they've already tried to add through recruiting and the transfer portal, and they are not done yet, Nick. There is potentially another player on the horizon that can help bolster the ranks of this Michigan defense.
Miles, I agree with you 100%. It looks like the Michigan Wolverines are this close to locking in another top flight defender that could push them over the top. But before we get into that, got a question for you Michigan fans to answer in the comment section below. Look, you guys are some of the smartest fans in college football. Not blowing smoke up you guys. I'm not a Michigan Wolverines fans. We just hear a lot of you guys comments, and that's why we want to hear from you guys. Give us your most interesting, most thoughtful takes about the Michigan Wolverines as we get ready for 2023. What do you know? A little inside baseball of what this football team is going to look like next season that nobody else does. Give us your thoughts in the comment section below, and whoever has the best comments, we'll give them a shout out during our next Michigan Wolverines video. All right, Miles, what you got? What's the latest involving Ann Arbor?
Yeah, Nick. So let's get right into it. I'm going to bring up the article now. This was over on Wolverine Digest. It says it's been a big week for the Michigan football program as the Wolverines host a big time transfer portal target over the next 2 days. First reported by Josh, and I'm going to butcher his last name, but I'll give him my best shot. Hinchek of the Maize and Blue Review. Michigan will be hosting cornerback Josh Wallace from Thursday to Friday. Wallace, a 6-foot, 190-pound senior out of UMass, recorded 41 tackles, 32 solo, 9 assisted, 3 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, and 8 pass breakups in the 2022 campaign. The veteran corner also served as a team captain for 2 of his 4 years with the Minutemen. Bringing in a veteran corner like Wallace would be seemingly secure the final puzzle piece to what should be a national championship caliber roster in 2023. There seems to be a strong belief that if the visit in Ann Arbor goes well this week, a commitment to Michigan will soon follow. Now, Nick, this has got to be huge for Michigan, as they alluded to in the article, potentially final piece for a championship caliber roster. This guy played a lot of minutes for the Minutemen last year. He was very good. He did a lot of solid work on the field, and I think that their chances of getting him are very good, especially because all the connections between UMass and Michigan. Don Brown, their head coach, was Michigan's defensive coordinator under Harbaugh from 2016 to 2020, and their quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, Steve Kasula, served as an analyst under John Gotti's and their linebacker coach as well was at Michigan from 2014 to 2017. So there's a lot of connections between the Minutemen and the Wolverines. I think that also will help as well. But Nick, I am excited about this move for the Wolverines, but I want to hear your take on it as well. What do you think about Wallace, and do you think he can help this Michigan team?
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot, right? College football is quickly becoming much more like the NFL game. And that, of course, has a lot of importance on the quarterback position. And, of course, the playmakers and offensive linemen protecting the quarterback and around the quarterback. But the corollary to that, right, is you need a lot of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. And I think the Michigan Wolverines have done a great job, at least in the front four over the past couple of years, having guys that can get after the quarterback. I think the weakness for Michigan, and I look at the TCU game, of course, and the Fiesta Bowl as an example of this, is they don't have enough top flight defensive backs in terms of depth across the entire secondary. They have a couple of guys here and there every year that are standouts, but in order to compete at the highest level of college football, to win national titles, you need to treat it like it's an NFL team where you need to have quality players everywhere in the secondary. And that's why I love the fact that Michigan's going after a guy like Wallace. I think this is a guy who was kind of really put in a bad situation at UMass. UMass is a terrible team. Wallace was put on islands all the time in bad situations, had no pass rush help, and graded out okay. PFF graded him out in the 70s, which again, we talk about with PFF. Anything in the 70s is a good, solid player. Anything in the 80s is the superstar. Him grading out in the 70s with just a terrible team around him at UMass, I think is a sign that when he gets to Michigan, he will play and grade out a lot better. And I think this is a guy who can come in, whether it's a number 2 corner, number 3 corner, number 4 corner, wherever he lines up, he's going to play a lot of meaningful snaps. I look for him to have a potentially Oluwatimi effect. This Oluwatimi was a transfer, goes to Michigan, takes over a leadership role at center last year, helps carry that offensive line to the top of the college football world in terms of offensive line rankings. I'm looking forward to see if Wallace can have a similar effect. I think he can. Wallace, like Olu, was a leader at UMass. He's a guy that's got a lot of experience. 1 year left. He's trying to go for a national title. I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to be hungry. I think he's going to do the little things. He's going to be a team guy. I think this is a great move for for Michigan if they can pull it off. Signs look like they will be able to pull it off. If they can just close the deal here and on the visit, make him sign on the dime that is on the line that is dotted, get him to commit to Michigan. I think it's going to happen. That's where my money is right now. And I think if they can pull it off, this would be a huge move for the program.
Yeah, Nick, and you said it. I think this guy can add a lot of value, but Michigan does have some solid corners here. I think that number one spot is definitely locked down by Will Johnson, supposed to be one of the best corners in the country this year. They have a really great slot corner and Mike Sainstrel as well, but that number 2 corner slot is kind of up for grabs. They have some guys on this roster, but I think a guy like Wallace can come in, as you alluded to, as I talked about. His leadership is going to be unparalleled for this unit. I think that's going to be a huge one here. So I think he has the ability to come in, battle it out for that number 2 corner position, or it could be a number 3 or number 4 in different kind of packages as well. But I think he can battle out and make a big impact on this team.